Hey everyone. So what I'm going to try to do today is walk through the SPY, the S&P 500 ETF, and how I was going to trade that today. It was a perfect example of price action trading if you're really paying attention to the trends, higher highs, lower lows, breakouts above and below support and resistance. So I'm going to try and walk through this and show you the trades that I was taking and why I didn't take some of the trades. Now keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional broker. This is just what I was doing. I would love to get your feedback on whatever it is that you see. So I'm using TradingView just to chart this. I wasn't trading out of it. I was actually using Webull, which I'm not very happy with. There's a lot of slippage and it's slow to place orders. So I am looking at moving over probably to interactive brokers. So take this all with a grain of salt. I'm not a professional, just doing this for fun. Well, trying to pad my retirement account. So anyway, we started off the day with earnings this morning. Apple blew through the roof. A bunch of others blew through the roof. Fantastic earnings report. So we knew we were going into an uptrend. And you can see right here, this is the 1 minute chart for SPY. And you can see it immediately took off like a rocket. And so we can see it going up. We go up, a little bit of consolidation, continued to come up, and then we pulled back and we came up and we tested that higher high. So we were already in an uptrend. And so if we start charting this out, we can kind of see this. I mean, it's pretty steep, right? And we saw this pullback, and don't pay attention to these sell and buy signals. It's a couple of indicators that I have loaded into TradingView. I use them for reference. They're not indicators to necessarily say buy here, sell there. If you're interested in these indicators, let me know. I'll provide you all the information that I can. So we were already in an uptrend. You can see it here. And we pulled back, a little bit of consolidation. And here was my first trade. So let's move this out of the way. I'll use that a little bit later. See all this consolidation? Well, boom. All of a sudden, we broke out. I knew we were in an uptrend, and so I took a trade right here. Trading options, this was right around 410. I always trade in the money. For those of you who trade options, you're going to understand what in the money and out of the money means. I'm not going to get into that, just kind of telling you where I'm trading. So I traded a 410 call. Keep in mind, I'm a scalper, so I'm not looking for long swing trades to go all the way through the day. I'm not looking for these home runs. I'm looking for quick wins. So when I'm trading, I set myself at a 15% profit target and a 10% stop loss. So, if things go backwards, hey, I'm not losing that much. But all I have to do really is have about a 50% win ratio, and I'm good. When your win is 1.5 times your loss, you're in good shape. Even at 50%, you're still turning a profit. So 410 call right here on this candle that broke above this area of consolidation. Knowing that we were already in an uptrend, I took that. Ultimately, I did profit off of it. It took a little bit, right? But this is where we started to see this upward trend really develop. So you can see it just kind of kept on coming up, started consolidating, and started pulling back. And right here, we started to form a area of support. So right here is where I kind of started my trend. And I pulled it all the way up here. Boom. So now you can see where our kind of the bottoms are in this upward trend. And so here we are. We bounced off this bottom here, and boom, we had another bullish candle right here. And so I took this trade knowing that I had at least, where were we here? 410.77. I had at least 50 cents to go. Well, I'll call it 40. I had at least 40 cents to go towards the top. But with this very strong bullish trend, I was like, it'll probably continue to go higher. There's a really good chance of that. So took the trade here. That was another 410 call. And eventually that did profit out. So you can see here, we hit this new higher high and we started to pull back, consolidated, kind of leveled out here, started to come back up, And I almost took this trade, almost, but it stopped out. And, we kind of saw it coming back and it blew through right here. It blew through this trend line that I had created. Now, right here, we see this kind of area of consolidation, an area of support right around 411.17, and broke through here. Now, I was going to take this trade. The reason I didn't was because I knew we were still technically in an uptrend, and I didn't feel confident with it. And it's a good thing that I didn't, because look what happened. It came back up. Now, we were already under this trend line, so when I got this buy signal right here, I didn't feel very confident. And even coming up right here, this bar right here, which was around 8:03 on Pacific time, was right here at the top of this lower high that we had hit. And this is where these signals come in for me. Second bar, right? That second candlestick right there, again, right at that area of resistance. Now, these are some indicators that I have. Get into those later if you're interested. I typically won't take a buy after I've already seen this signal. Just the way that these things work, my experience with the way that it's laid out. I didn't create this. I can give you the code, everything, but don't worry about that. So I'm not going to take either of these sells or any of these buys. And as you can see, it topped out just below, again, over here, which was that highest high. And we started to retrace back downwards. And this is where we started to create that downward trend. Now, right here is where I started looking to sell. But we start looking at this trend line. We'll put another one in here. There we go. And we'll extend these out. So you can see this interesting kind of wedge, reverse wedge that started to form. So we'd already had this sell signal, so I wasn't going to take a sell here. Again, just experience working with these indicators. It's normally not a good idea for me. I've lost too much money following these indicators. So when this came up and it fell short, I said, okay, I think we're starting this bearish trend. And again, we kind of saw this rejection up here. Boom. Almost took this trade. But again, look where it ended up. That bar closed right exactly at the low, the previous low. So I wasn't about to take that. Another bar shot down. Almost took that because, again, look, it broke past that trend line. But the next bar, where did it open? Way up here. It kind of gapped up, well above where I wanted to be. So I didn't enter that trade. We started to come back up, didn't hit a new higher high, came back, kind of tested this trend line again. Again, we're kind of really going nowhere. Came up, tested the trend line. I mean, look at that, the wick right there on that trend line. And so started to come up here. I almost took this trade, but I had to start saying to myself, look, we're in a bearish trend. The trend is your friend until it's not, right? So didn't take any of these trades. This one was kind of looking good, but again, I was like, right here at that top. I mean, look where the wick ended up. That wick ended up right at the exact top of this previous high, which was still a lower high. And again, the next candlestick went up, but where did it close? It closed again right at the top of those previous wicks. And again, I was after my buy signal. So for me, it's like, that's not a good one to take. And what do you know? Topped out again, started coming back down. As you can see, even though we're technically in a bearish trend here, it really wasn't going anywhere. It was kind of going sideways, just kind of ping-ponging up and down. And if I was following these indicators, sell, stopped out. Buy, stopped out. Sell, stopped out. Right? Buy, stopped out. Sell, stopped out. It would have just been bing, 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 losing money hand over fist. That's why it's so important to pay attention to the trends, higher highs, lower lows, breakouts, things like that. So as we started to progress, consolidate this a little bit here. So again, here was that sell signal. Like I could have taken it, and And actually, I think I did take this one and I lost it. So I'll be honest with you. I was going to take this one, but I didn't like where it ended up. And I think I did take a trade here, thinking, okay, we were continuing down into that lower low. And I think I lost this trade. And again, came back up. So, hey, you're going to lose some trades. That's all right. I took that trade because I felt it was a good trade and it wasn't. So shame on me, but that's okay. You have to be willing to lose money in order to make money. So again, here we are, starting to continue up. Where did this bar end up? Right here at the previous, the previous bullish area, which we consolidated a little bit. So I wasn't about to take that trade. And again, look where the next bar opened, below. Also after my buy indicator. So I'm not going to get in there. What did it do? It kind of tested this again, came back down. Where did it stop? Right again, right here at that previous low. Not a good place for me to be buying, right? So kind of ping-ponged around a little bit, came up again, kind of testing these previous highs, not going anywhere, still in this bearish trend. Came down, didn't really hit anywhere, came down again, boom. I took a trade right here. Another loss. I'll be honest with you. Another loss here, but it was a close one. I think I was within like 1 or 2 cents of hitting my profit target. I took a 411 put right here. I always trade in the money, and I trade in the money because I feel like once it's in the money, you get greater movement. It also tends to be a little bit more expensive. So when you're looking at a 15% profit target, you're spending a little bit more, but you earn more, right? Your win is bigger, so are your losses. Again, all I have to do is hit 50% and I'm winning, right? So I think I did stop out on this one. I'd have to go back and look at my trades. But either way, not a big deal. So it kind of came down, hit a new lower low, but I'd already stopped out, so I wasn't going to get into that one. And then we started to see this uptrend again, right? I was going to take this trade, but again, look where that candlestick ended. It was right here at that top. I'm like, no, that's not a good place to buy. Just concerned that it was going to get rejected. Here's this one, boom. Where's it at? Right here towards the top. I mean, look where the wick ended up. Again, right at the top, another area of resistance. So I'm like, I'm just not going to take it. Next bar, right around that same area, but again, it was after my buy indicator, so I wasn't going to enter there. Again, still technically in this bearish trend. And if we start looking at this, extend this out a little bit. Where are we? There we go. Look at that. Still that bearish trend. And we broke above it right here, which was a good sign. But for me, again, it was after my buy signal. And again, I've just experienced with these indicators. I know it's typically not where I want to make an entry. And it started to come back down. And I actually took this entry right here. Because right here, it rejected off of this trend line. Started off right here, it came down, and I took this trade. I almost stopped out right here in this area. Because again, when you're only running a 10% stop loss, it doesn't go very far. So I actually took the 411 put right here, and I profited somewhere down in this area. And then we saw that retracement here. Wasn't about to buy in this area, not with, right here we had this bullish harami candle. For those of you who are familiar with it, a lot of times that's a signal of a reversal in the market, or at least a reversal in that trend. And we did see that, right? Boom, started going up. Again, right here, we're still in this bearish trend, and we saw it come all the way back up, and it basically rejected right here off of this trend line. And again, I had this buy signal, but right off of that trend line, not going to happen. So 1, 2, 3 bars we saw right here, and then it came up right here, broke above that trend line. It was almost a sure sign that we were starting to see a reversal. But where does this one end up? The candlestick actually closes out right here, right at that level of resistance that we saw before. So not a trade that I was about to take. The next candlestick came up, and where is it? That candlestick and the wick right here. right at that area, right around 411. So we're starting to see that bullish trend start. So I wasn't about to get in right here. And now we see that trend starting. So we came up, had a little bit of a pullback, and I thought to myself, hey, this is a good place. We're starting to get into that bullish trend. We saw that this little pullback right here jumped up, but again, not significant. So I waited for it to retest. Came up, pulled back a little bit higher. Then we had these bearish candles, which look where they ended up, right here. Right here. They all stopped right around that same area with that previous pullback. So we started coming up, and right here. It's not often that this buy signal is right where I want it to be, but if you see where this candlestick ended, I knew we were in a bullish trend now. I mean, if you look at these trend lines, let's readjust this. Boom. What's that look like? If that's not bullish, I don't know what is. So you can see there's the lows, and when this candlestick broke above these previous ones, I said this is a buy entry. And then I just about crapped my pants when it just stopped right here and didn't go anywhere. Now I was fortunate, it didn't pull back enough and it continued to go on, and I made a profit. Another pullback here, but these right here, it had already broken below this trend line and kind of rejected a little bit off of here, but I was already starting to pull out of the market for the day. I don't trade past 11 o'clock. I do have a day job. I was already cutting into my work. Luckily, I'm on the Pacific Coast, so it was only almost 11 for me. So I was pretty much out of the market at that point, not making any more trades. But I did have a couple of losses in there, and that's okay. My wins offset my losses. And so that's kind of the bulk of where I entered and why. And I would love to get everyone's feedback. Again, not a professional trader. This is not financial advice. Previous performance is not an indicator of future performance. So just because some of these trades worked for me today does not mean they'll work tomorrow, nor does it mean they'll work for you. So always remember, we all trade differently. We all see different things. I love to collaborate with people. Working with, from the bottom trading group, great group of guys. Every morning they're getting together and trading and bouncing ideas and indicators, and great group. Strongly suggest finding people that you can learn from. Learn something from these guys every day. Hopefully they learn stuff from me as well. And as you can see, we continued this bullish trend, and boy, I wish I had more time to trade some of these because that just went through the roof for a while. But again, I don't trade after 11 o'clock. For me, the market gets a little crazy after 11. I really don't like where it goes, especially after 12 o'clock Pacific time. That last hour of trading, as everybody starts dumping their positions, really wreaks havoc and things get volatile. I mean, look at the size of these bars. This was only, around 11:30. And then look what happens. 12 o'clock, boom, everybody starts dumping. Then, a few people think, oh, I'm gonna go short right here because everybody's dumping. And, then it kind of creeps up, they get stopped out, pushes it up a little bit, and then more dump. All the way down until the market closed. That's kind of typical, especially on a Friday. So another reason I don't trade past 11. But again, I would love to get your feedback. These were the trades that I was looking at, and some of them I took, some of them I lost and won. Just a little bit of insight into some price action trading. I don't typically look at the 5-minute chart, the 15-minute chart, the 30-minute chart for price action. I look at them earlier in the day to just kind of get an idea of what's the overall trend. What are we seeing? Is the market in an overall trend up, down, right? Is it bearish? Is it bullish? Where are we going? But I'm not looking at them particularly for price action. Sometimes I'll look at it for the previous day. Where were some of those super areas of resistance or support that I might want to stay away from? I didn't even bother to do that today. I was just plainly going off of price action. So I hope this video enlightens you a little bit, gives you some ideas on how I trade and why, some of the things that I'm looking at, why I enter, why I don't. Again, these indicators that I have in TradingView, I'm happy to provide them for you if you're interested. There's a million different indicators out there that people will swear by, and they'll make you a millionaire by the end of the week if you just follow them. It's all crap. So use them as a guideline. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is guaranteed. So hope you guys have a great weekend. I appreciate you guys spending the time to watch my video. Hopefully you learned something from it. If not, maybe you can pass it on to someone else. So have a great weekend, everyone. Happy trading. Stay safe. Always use a stop loss. Thanks.